Hi guys, and welcome to day 7 of this 10-day postpartum challenge. Today is mobility 3, so we have mobility core and strength ahead of us, and level 3 where everything's going to be just a little bit more challenging. So if you've been feeling like, okay, the previous levels have been pretty easy for me and I'm ready to try something a bit harder, then this is going to be great for you. And if you felt like the previous levels are just about right for you or even difficult for you, then that's totally fine. I want to give you a taste today of where you can move on to once you're ready and give you some different exercises that you can try. Like I've said at the end of the previous videos, it's totally fine if you're not here now. You might need to work at those earlier levels for a little while and then you'll be able to move up. But in any case, I'm going to give you an easier option so that you don't feel like you have to do the really, really hard exercise. You're going to need one of these bands. If you don't have one, you can use a pair of yoga pants or any kind of slightly stretchy leggings like this. I will give you an option if you don't have one, so don't worry if you don't have anything. If you do, go and grab it now. Okay, let's get started. Coming down onto the floor, we're just going to start off by warming our wrists up. So just making some circles first of all. The wrists can get so sore for so many women postpartum, and that can hold us back from doing a bunch of exercises. Just turn them around the other way. A bunch of exercises on the floor because we just can't hold our weight there. You do have to keep trying to move them, try not to keep them still all the time. I'm going to just stretch them out a little bit. So try stretching out, straightening the whole arm. And try to keep putting a little bit of pressure on them, even if it's only a little bit. Okay, last one. We're going to come onto all fours. And you can keep more of your weight on your legs if your wrists are sore. And we're just going to rock forward, putting more weight on our wrists and trying to stretch our wrists out a little bit. If this is too much for you, then just hang out wherever you can do it. As I said, even if your wrists are really, really sore, you do want to try and get weight on your wrists to strengthen them up and keep them working so they don't just keep getting weaker. Last one, we're going to switch our wrists around if you can and just stretch them back. So this is a more advanced one. You don't have to do this if this is sore. Okay, shake it out. Right, we're going to go into our downward facing dog. If you remember last time in mobility 2, we went from all fours into our downward dog like this, and then back into all fours. So if your back hurts, especially when you extend the spine, then you're just going to keep doing this. And if your back's fine and you don't have a problem, then you're going to go all the way through and go into an upward facing dog. Okay, and stretching the back as far as you can this way. We're just going to go back and forth about 10 times, pushing that chest towards your knees, pedaling out the legs a little bit, trying to open up the shoulders as much as you can, and then upward facing dog, stretching out the front of the body, all of the front of the body, and trying to arch the back as far as you can. Don't do this if it hurts. Lots of people have back pain. It's just a bit too sensitive within this position. So if you can only go this far, that's fine. If you need to come into that all fours position and go back into the downward facing dog, that's also fine. Do what's right for you. This is the more advanced version. If you feel comfortable like this, just going to bend your knees here and stretch out the front of those thighs, the quads as well. Everything gets so tight. Just a few more of these. Trying to go a little bit further each time, really sticking your bum out. And then try to go as far as you can this way, reaching the head back, trying to touch your head with your toes. Last 2. Obviously this is from yoga. This isn't something that I've invented, but it's a great way of stretching out all the front of the body and all the back of the body and the shoulders. It gets so tight for so many of us. And the last one, coming all the way up into upward facing dog, and then we're going to walk back into our squat, into our deep squat. If you're still struggling with this and you need to hold on to something, remember you can keep doing that. You can hold on to something here. Wherever you're at, whether you're down here or holding on to something, not able to get further down, you're going to stick your bum up in the air, straighten your legs out, and just hang down, head down as heavy as you can, and stretch out the back of the legs. So you might be stuck here, you might be able to get all the way down to the floor, you might be way more flexible than me. So we're just going to go back and forth between the two. So if you're okay with this, you're just going to go back and forth at your own pace, all the way down into the squat, and all the way up into the forward bend, breathing through it as you go. And if you're really tight and you're holding on to something, you're going to be going like this, and then you're going to go forward, and bend as far as you can, feel that stretch, straighten your legs out, or bend them if it hurts, whatever feels good for you, and see if you can go an extra millimetre further here, and an extra millimetre further here. Okay, just a couple more, all the way down into the squat, and then all the way into the forward bend. One more, down into the squat, push those knees out a little bit, make sure you've got enough space in between your feet, and then all the way into the forward bend. Going as far as you can. You might feel like you can go further now than you did on that first one. Okay, so now we're going to grab our band or yoga pants. If you don't have one, what you're going to do is you're going to do a chest stretch on the wall. You can do standing up, you don't have to do kneeling. You put your hand on the wall and stretch out the chest. And this is one of my favourite exercises for stretching out the chest and stretching out the shoulders. So if you do have anything like this, go and grab it now. It's called a shoulder pass through, where we hold the bands out. You can do this standing up, I just want to fit in the frame. Hold your hands about wider than shoulder width apart. Just going to pass your shoulders through, keeping the elbows completely straight. Feeling that big chest, that big stretch in your chest and in the back of your elbow, stretching out your bicep, stretching out your chest. And if you don't have a stretch, or if it feels quite easy, you just scoot your hands a little bit further together. It's best to have a really stretchy band to do this. Just go backwards and forwards. This is such a great one for mums. We spend so much of our time like this, that just spending a minute, just opening up the chest as much as we can, feels really awesome. Okay, so next exercise, we're going back into our squat. So if you can't get into a deep squat, what you're going to do is hold on to something and just do your best to wiggle into that deep squat as much as you can, and then standing up out of it and going back into it again. So if you are in this deep squat, what you're going to do is make sure your feet are flat on the floor. Maybe you need to take them a little bit wider apart. Push your knees out with your elbows, and then what you're going to do is take one hand, put it on the floor, opposite hand reaches up as far as you can, trying to twist your body. Okay, trying to twist as far as you can, and as far as you can around the other way, pushing your knees out all the time, don't let them fall in. Okay, so it's stretching out the hips and the spine, twisting around. If this is way too much for you and you're still practicing the squat, you're going to come onto all fours. Keep doing it if that feels good for you, and come onto all fours. Sit back, twist, and we're going to do this one, okay? Just 5 on each side, okay? Right, which we did in mobility 1. So if you're still here, just a few more, reaching around, the other way. And last one. Okay, so we're going to go back through that circuit now one more time, just a little bit faster. Make sure that you're using the options that are right for you if this did feel really difficult. So we're going to come forward onto all fours, and we're going to go from our downward dog, opening up the shoulders into the upward facing dog. Okay, back and forth, remembering that if you're still here, you can still do this. If you can go all the way into an upward facing dog, that's great. If you can bend your knees, awesome. And you can stretch out all of the body. Do whatever level's right for you. Okay, I'll just remind you of the different levels in this. I want this to be accessible for everyone, or almost everyone. Awesome. Okay, then we're going to walk forward and come down into our deep squat. And we're going to do our squat to forward bend. Okay, so you might still be doing this, holding on to something and not quite getting all the way down. That's totally fine. You might need to hold on to your sofa, something that doesn't move. You might be quite flexible and be able to do this, but it feels really good. It opens up the back, the hips, all of the spine. Everything gets a nice stretch out. Squats are really underestimated. They're really underused. It's really important to work on that hip mobility. Some of us won't ever get there, and that's totally totally fine. But it's really great for opening up all of the hips, pelvic floor, knee, ankle, everything working through full range of motion. Last one. And then we're going to grab our band or yoga pants again, stretching out, doing our shoulder pass through, keeping those elbows completely straight. Remembering, if you don't have anything to do this with, you can just stretch out your chest on a wall, or you can even hold your hands behind your back, stretch that chest out. If you do have a band or yoga pants, you're gonna just go back and forth between the two, keeping those elbows completely straight. Getting your hands a little bit closer together if you feel like you can. Just really stretching out all that, those tight muscles that are always all cramped up like this. This is great for people who work at desks as well. You might feel your shoulder blades kind of pinching together at the back. So we're getting those shoulder blades really moving as well. Awesome, okay. So we're gonna go into our squat and twist. So if that was too much for you, we're gonna come onto all fours, sit back on our bums on our heels, scoot forward a little bit, and then one hand behind the head, and we're going to twist underneath the opposite elbow and open up as far as we can around this way. Okay, we're going to do 5 on each side and then switch sides. And if you can get into that deep squat, and you get into a deep squat, and just twist around as far as you can. You might be stuck here, shoulders are tight, back's tight, the obliques are tight, so it's totally fine to just go where you can go. If you can reach all the way around, reach as far as you can. Really try and keep your weight even on your feet and pushing your knees out. Just a few more of these. Last one on each side. And that's it. That was mobility 3. Thanks for joining me today for day 7. How did you find it? How did you find this mobility flow? Did you find that it really eased any aches and pains, or did it make anything worse? Some of it may have been familiar to you from yoga, but has a different flow. So how did you find that? Let me know if you found it too easy or too hard or just right. And let me know if you have any questions as well. Stick them in the comments below. Be more than happy to answer and help you figure out what the right level is for you.